Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve, Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so thrilled to have you join us today. We dedicate this podcast to exploring the idea of doing work and life with that servant's heart. What impact are you going to create? What difference are you going to make? I want you to think about that. We also dedicated this podcast to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you. Today, we're going to be doing my great guest today, talk about something very special that's growing, but needs a lot of help. And I think you people out there, audience, can help with that. And while listening to the show, here's your call to action. I love giving you guys call to action. Think about how you're going to serve yourself and others today and what impact you'll create today. The key word is today. We wait, and then a month goes by, 2 months go by, and you haven't served somebody. Try it today, and I guarantee you, send me an email. You're going to be pretty happy that you did that. Just bring value to people. And today's episode is proudly sponsored by an incredible partner, Pantheon Alliance, would you like to be part of an exclusive community of high-income, successful business owners and entrepreneurs from very diverse industries. Together, they're building a thought leader platform to impact and change the world. With that being said, impact and change, autism is everywhere. I've had a number of guests on my podcast talking about autism. It's here. But what I've learned about autism, they're great people. You know what? And they're great employees. We just have to have some patience, just like anything else. So I'm a big supporter of helping autism, and my guest is really a big part of that. So let's welcome to the show, Jordan.
Thank you.
Autism Superdad. Like I told you before the show, I love that. Tell me more about that.
It's easy. So my daughter, my little girl, the light of my life, 14-year-old, she's got autism. She's on the spectrum, and, autism spectrum disorder, ASD, Autism Superdad, ASD, it's just something else we have in common. And, I never planned on being a super dad of anybody or anything. Never thought I was all that good. Never planned on having a kid with autism, and I'm thankful for all of it. It's just, she makes me a better person. Hopefully I make her a better person. And over the time, I've realized I've done so much. One day she goes, you're like my own Superman or super dad. I'm like, Autism Super Dad? She's like, yeah. So that's it. Autism Super Dad. There we go.
Well, and you said something very poignant there. It was, I didn't expect to have a child with autism. So it's not like there's a book. I think you go and Google. I don't go to Google to do this, but it's a whole new thing. Yeah, I expect to have this daughter, and you're going to grow. Now you throw the autism in there. How did you handle it, and how are you handling it now?
Great question. It's a nonstop learning. It really is. We learn every day. We read books. We take courses. It's really hard because there is no manual. I mean, there's no manual for raising kids. Every kid is a little bit different. Every situation is a little bit different. So you do your best. Now add in the autism aspect, and it's a spectrum. So, from here to here, or, trying to figure out how to make it look good on camera, there's a million miles in between and a million variations. So where she is on the spectrum with one thing versus something else is so hard. So we're always learning, and what worked today might not work tomorrow, and what worked today didn't work yesterday. And it's very common that somebody with autism isn't just autism. So my daughter, she's got autism, she's got anxiety, she's got ADHD. So she's got some different things that for her make life challenging, but also make life amazing. I mean, she's got some incredible talents. we were driving someplace, and there was a bird that flew across, and I'm like, oh, cool bird. And she named the type of bird it was and where it comes from. I'm like, how do you know this stuff? She just
Wow.
does. I mean,
Yeah.
there were just blows my mind with some stuff. And like, she has superpowers. And I think one of her superpowers is she makes the people who come into contact with her better humans.
I was just going to say, what's her superpower? You took the words right out of my mouth. Well, really, I like that kind of flow on a podcast, because that's why I love people with autism. They have some superpowers that me and you won't have. Like, I wouldn't. I look at bird. I'd say same thing. Hey, look at the wings. That's cool. And they're like, it's a peacock with this and that. And like, that's powerful to be able to know something like that. Talk about your what you've learned from her superpower.
So most of what I learn, I share in stories, and I think stories are the best way to do things. So I'll share a story, and I use it in a lot of my keynotes. It's about the day I met my hero, and we'll go back probably. So she's 14 now, so we'll go back 11 years or so, and one of those really, really hot summer days, summer solstice, sun is high in the sky. There's not a cloud in the area, 100% humidity. You step outside and you're like, smothered by the heat. That was the day. And she wanted to go to a family fun day at a local park. It was a Sunday morning. We go to this family fun day, and if I'm this tall, she's this big at that point in time, and we're walking, and I'm sitting while I'm talking to you, so I can't stand to do all the motions, but she's got my hand, and I'm like, come on, Rachel, let's go. And we're walking up to the park after we park the truck, and she can hear the sound of the bounce houses, and she can hear the sound of the band playing. So suddenly she's no longer pulling me. Now I'm walking ahead of her. And now she lets go of my hands and she covers her ears. And we're walking slower and slower and slower. And just as we get to the outside perimeter, and we're next to one of the bounce houses, which is perpendicular with another bounce house. And 20 feet in front of us is a cop in a dunk tank, and another cop standing there having kids line up, throwing the ball and dunk the cop. Just behind them is a booth, and they've got a clown making the animal balloons, and then they've got face painting in the back. They've got pony rides, and they've got a barbecue going. And we're in the direct sunlight, 8 feet over from us is shade, and she's dead stop like this. And it's 90 something degrees out in complete humidity. So wait a minute, wait 2 minutes. And then I start nudging her. Hey, Rachel, why don't we move over here? Let's go in the shade. Hey, let's go in the shade. Try to pull her hand away from her ear a little bit, like, come on. Nothing. So I do what any good dad's going to do. I pick her up. Oh, that was one lesson I learned. No way. So instead of this, punching, screaming, yelling, and everybody in the place turned and looked at me. And of course, what I feel was way more like suddenly spotlights were shined on me. The band stopped and they all looked at me. I mean, like, the cop was jumped out of the dunk tank. I mean, it wasn't like that, but that was the feeling. And of course, I'm abducting this kid, right? So that's what everybody's looking at. Jeez. So I just put it right down and right back to. I tell everybody it's okay. And we're there in the sun. And we stayed there for about an hour. And after about an hour, this happens. Daddy, I can play now. And she looks up at me and says, Daddy, I can play now. And I said, okay. So she just runs right across the front of me into the first bounce house, takes her shoes off, gets in the bounce house, covers her ears again, and jumps up and down for about a minute or two. Comes out of that one, runs right to the next bounce house, gets in that one, jumps up and down for a minute or two. Comes out of that one, comes to me, holds my hand, and we walked around the whole place. Do you want to take a pony ride? No. Do you want to get your face painted? No. Do you want to get an animal balloon made? No. Do you want to throw the ball and dunk the cop in the water? No. Hey, there's a mascot. Can I get a picture of you and the mascot? Okay. So I get a picture of her and the mascot. okay, Daddy, we can go now. Like, really? We've been here 7 minutes. 7 minutes after you said, Daddy, I can play now. 7 minutes.
Hmm.
And I thought about this. So we go back into the car, I remote start the truck to get the air conditioning going, cool things down, put her in her car seat, buckle her in, get around in the front. Before I'm out of the parking lot, she's sound asleep. Sound asleep. I don't even think it's 11:30 yet on a Sunday morning. And I realized what type of holy hell did she have to put herself through to take everything. So with autism, sensory is a really big deal, and everything comes in at the same level. So the motors of the bounce houses, the band, the smell from the barbecue, the ding from the ball hitting the pin on the dunk tank, the horses in the back and their feet walking, everything comes in at the same exact level. Plus all the colors, all the other senses, plus me trying to move her, all of it. She had to somehow mentally, at the age of 3, put everything in its place. I'll say compartmentalize it and make it all okay so that she can play for 7 minutes. 7 minutes. That's what she got. That was her reward for all of that work. And as I drove home, I thought to myself, if she could do that, what can we do? What are we capable of? Like, we have no excuse. I have no excuse. I think I push myself hard. I'm a wimp. I don't come anywhere near close to what she can do in every single day. And that's her life. That's her life. And that's so many others with autism. That's their life. So if that's what they have to do, if that's what their waking hours are like, what's our excuse for not pushing ourselves?
And get a 7-minute reward. We worry about the $10 million reward, and maybe the $7 reward is just as good as the 10 million because it made a difference in her life. That 7 minutes. That's all. I love that story. You're a racer, so this leads to Racers for Autism nonprofit that you have. Talk about that and what you're doing, because I think community is a big part of autism. Like you said, it's learning. If you could go out to reach other parents and resources that way, it helps much. It helps a lot more.
So things just transition sometimes. Obviously, my hobby was racing cars. I've got a daughter with autism, so let's make it the autism awareness car, and let's just bring awareness to autism. So that's what we did, and our sponsors were really happy to be tied to that and tied to share some information about autism. But what I found over time is people would come to me after the race or before the race and like, hey, thank you so much for racing this car. I think I've got grandkids who are on the spectrum, or I've got a kid on the spectrum, or I've got a niece or a nephew. Can I ask you some questions? Where do I get some help? What do we do? How do I know? And what I learned is there's a whole giant community of people who don't know where to get help, who don't know what to do. Now, I'm really lucky. I have 2 heroes in my life. I've got my daughter and I've got my wife. My wife's a school psychologist. She's got her PhD. She, you know, like any mom, she loves our daughter immensely. And, she's taking the time to learn as much as she can about autism. But she goes and figures out what's available to us for help. What's available for my daughter for help? Where can we go? What can we do? And she spends hours upon hours upon hours, and she gets frustrated, and you're going this way and go that way,
Yeah.
but she gets it done and she gets it figured out. And, she's got a doctorate. She's a smart woman. This stuff's not simple, and where to find the help isn't always so easy. So once we started doing this, I was like, hey, let's promote a race for autism, and we'll make it a small payout, but we'll tie in some sponsors and we'll raise some money from some local autism charities, and we'll have them on site so people can come and talk to them and ask questions. The first year went immaculately. Second year, every sponsor came back and some more came back and wanted to put more money into it, which allowed us to make it even bigger. And it almost killed me because it was like trying to run and promote this race became another full-time job. So I've got my employment agency with 2 locations. I've got my speaking and leadership training, and now I've got this race I'm promoting. It's like, it's too much. So after the second year, I said to the sponsors, I'm like, if we're going to do this, I need to go bigger again. So we're going to start a not-for-profit called Races for Autism. We're going to build a website. We're going to get some help. And I think it was February of this year, we're still in 2024. We launched Races for Autism, a not-for-profit. And, the website probably still needs a couple of updates because it's got all the race information for the 2024 race, but we're doing it again next year. And we work with local not-for-profits to raise them money. For the 3 years we've been doing it, we've probably raised them close to 40 grand. My goal for 2025 is to see if we can raise them 40 grand in 1 year, and go from there and see what we can do. Because it used to be 1 in 100 kids, then it was 1 in 76 kids, then it was 1 in 44 kids. Now they're saying it's 1 in 36 kids. When is it going to be 1 in 10? When's it going to be 1 in 5? Those days are coming. And everybody knows somebody, right? When you're at 1 in 36, you're not removed enough to be inoculated from it. Everybody knows somebody. And that's why it's important that we put this out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of media the last 2 or 3, especially after COVID, about it. So your awareness should be there unless you don't watch TV ever and you don't get out. Yeah, it's somebody, you were saying your niece there, but I know people who say, yeah, a friend of mine's daughter, man, she struggles with her daughter's, it's there because I've seen it. I'm out and about more than most, but I love that you did that. And you just proved community works. You built a nonprofit. It's a community.
100%. And, we've changed it. I no longer run the autism awareness car. It's no longer the autism awareness race. It's become autism acceptance because it's different. Now, with the acceptance requires some understanding, some understanding that that kid you see having a meltdown, it's probably not just bad parenting. Okay. There's probably something else there. They don't know how to handle the frustration or the anxiety or something that's misplaced. And it's not because they haven't been taught and they don't know the strategies. It's because the synapses in the brains that aren't connecting the right way for that. And it just doesn't work the right way.
And I like that where you're leaning towards the people like me that don't have an autistic kid or don't know many people, that when we see it in the grocery store at a sporting event, to understand it, ask the right questions, support in the right way. Don't come up, hey, you're beating your kid up, or like your situation, the cops thinking that you're doing something bad. It's just being, acceptance is a great word. It's better.
And it comes with understanding, and
yeah.
My wife and I have signed up for this course. We're taking it called from Asperger Experts, and it's somebody who's diagnosed with Asperger's, and it's what they used to call autism on the lower end of the spectrum. And I'm stealing this from him. I probably won't say it the right way, but he shared this story in the very beginning, and it has put a great perspective on things. He said, I want you to imagine this. You're at all-out war. You're in battle. You're in the battlefield. It's nighttime. You're in a bunker. You're shooting. You got your helmet on. You're full gear. You can hear the bullets flying by your head. There are people getting hit. There are bombs going off. There's explosions happening. It's nighttime, but the sky's lit up like daylight from all the bombs and the rifles going off and people screaming, blood flying. And amidst all of that, your grandmother walks up to you and says, would now be a good time to teach you to knit?
Wow.
And you're like, wow. What the F, Grandma? Get down. What are you doing? Are you stupid? Blah, blah, blah. That is what your child feels like. And sometimes in a daily situation, you don't know it. You can't see it. But that's what they're going through. And you're like, hey, let's do math homework now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes no sense.
That helps me a lot as a person outside this to visualize it. An audience, if you're not part of this, visualize that so you're more prepared when something like that happens. We're coming to the end here, so I've got a couple of questions. What's one tip that you can give people listening that have autistic children?
One tip that have autistic children?
Probably a lot, but what's one thing that comes to your head?
Patience. Practice patience. Don't give up. Don't give up, because they're not giving you a hard time, they are having a hard time.
Great tip. Man, I'm learning so much. That's why I love doing shows. I get to learn as well. Audience, I know you're learning as well. And the last question, because I'm very curious, I've never asked people with talking about autism on my show, is what do you see the future of autism in the next 3 to 5 years?
It's so funny that you say that, because you can't just look at autism isolated. In the next 3 to 5 years, AI is going to have a tremendous impact on society. And AI is going to bring something that's at a new level for a lot of people. It's going to substitute intelligence in a lot of places. And what's going to be more important than intelligence is human connection. And as human connection becomes more important, we're going to understand more about people with autism and what they're doing and what they bring in those specific nuances. I think it's become more accepted, and we're going to find more strengths that we need from people with autism to move forward into the future.
That's a powerful message. You're blowing me out of the water. I've never heard AI tied to autism, but it makes perfect sense. Absolutely. Wow. Well, audience, take that and run with it. If you know people with autism, I'm going to talk at the end of the show here in a few minutes what you could do. But let's end with a great improv. I like the improv. So I've reserved a table at a restaurant for you, table of 4. Obviously, you're going to sit in one of the chairs. Who are you going to invite, dead or alive? Why are they invited? And what food would you order?
Who am I going to invite, dead or alive? Why are they invited? What food would they order? I'm inviting my daughter, because any amazing experience, I want her to join me.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
I'm inviting my dad. He's dead. I want him to be able to see where my daughter is today and what she's doing. Ordering lasagna for him, because that was his favorite. And I'm inviting my mom, because when my dad passed in 2016, her life has gone down the drain a little bit. And it was, just shy of their 50th. Was the love of her life. And I think every day she still misses him completely and deeply. And I don't know how I could actually do anything like this and not invite her and then ever look her in the eyes again.
Yeah. Very, very cool. I love it. And I'm going to be there. So because it's my table, because I love lasagna. So I have to be there. It's so darn good. Can you do me a favor? What's your daughter's name and your wife's name?
My daughter's name is Rachel, Rachel. And my wife's name is Mindy, Mindi.
Mindy and Rachel, I just want to do a shout out on this recording publicly. You guys are his hero. You're now my hero. I'm going to get emotional because people like you are making a difference in the world without even expecting anything. You just want to make a difference, especially you, Rachel, what you're doing and what you're teaching your dad and probably others. I wish more people would listen and follow your lead, and I will absolutely try to follow your lead. So thank you. Thank you, Jordan, for that, because I just had to say that because I've just got this, my heart's glowing with people like that. We just need more of them. So with that being said, people that have autism, dealing with it with their children or somebody else, how can they support you and reach out to you?
They can support us. I mean, we've got our not-for-profit, racersforautism.com. I mean, we'll always take donations, any way, shape, or form, because that helps local charities. But the best way you can support me outside of monetary is be kind. Be kind, be understanding. Give those who you see might be struggling and might have challenges some acceptance, some understanding. Don't be so cruel. Don't ridicule. Understand that they're just doing their best to get by, and sometimes it's harder for them than it might be for us.
Yeah. Amen. An audience, he just motivated me. I got tears in my eyes talking about this. And hire him. Keynote speak. Motivate your team. Motivate people with autism. Reach out, talk to him, and you can connect, I'm sure, with Racers for Autism. There's a contact box there. They can reach out and connect with you. And call to action, I'm going to donate right when I get off this show. So if you want to follow my lead, don't have to, but if you want to follow my lead, go ahead and donate there, because this is a big cause and it needs bigger numbers. And 40,000 is not enough in my eyes. We need to make that 10 times more. So with that being said, if you know somebody with autism, here's the power of subscribing to my podcast on YouTube, is that link. When you listen to this show and you go, my God, my best friend's daughter has autism, share this link that Jordan talked about autism, what he's doing, what he's dealing with, how he's moving forward, how he's having an enjoyable life, which I want people to have. But what a gift. That's the true servant's heart, is taking the show and sharing it with others, because again, you're going to make a difference and impact in their world. I'm going to do the same and share it with others. With that being said, me and Jordan want to thank you all for watching or listening to this podcast, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.